we all want to become millionaires. The question always is how does that happen? I'm going to walk through this little 3-minute interview here with Harry Dent, who's a financial editor, got his MBA from Harvard, and writes all about the economy. But he says some very interesting things about Bitcoin and the crypto space, and I want you guys to hear this.
Another speaker, and I've stolen this line ever since. It's the digitization. Cryptocurrencies are the digitization of all financial assets. Is that a big deal or not? So that's what it is.
Let's Bitcoin at large, perhaps. Is that DeFi or is that Bitcoin?
No, it's DeFi, but Bitcoin, I see, when it grows and gets more acceptance, could be the standard. That everybody's talking in this conference about gold coming back. No, gold will never be the standard.
So one thing here is if you're not familiar with what DeFi is decentralized finance, meaning there's no institution, there's no middleman, and you own your own assets and you're able to do things with your assets without a third party controlling it. So that's decentralized finance. So for example, things like Uniswap, that is a decentralized platform that allows you to do certain things. Okay. Also, what's interesting here that most people don't say, especially those who are older, is that gold will not be the standard going forward. So he talks about digitization of the economy, and that's very important.
We cannot keep up with the global economy. We're in a digital economy now, and Bitcoin could become the new standard for the digital economy in the future, replacing gold in that function. So I think Bitcoin, and I've tracked this versus the dot-coms. I compare the crypto to the dot-coms in the late 90s. It wasn't just a bubble in tech stocks. It was the dot-coms, Amazon, okay? Amazon was a nothing burger and became the greatest retailer in history. So this is going to crash, and I think Bitcoin could go down to 3,000 to 7,000 and then go to 500,000 to 1 million in the next global boom.
Okay. A few things with that, right? So one is we all look at what Amazon is today and has been for some time, but during the dot-com boom, or bust, I should say, the crash, Amazon was lumped in with every other dot-com business. And so it got hurt with the rest of them. And you couldn't get a single person to invest in an Amazon or Google at that time because everyone was saying they're nothing. They have no inherent value. We don't see the long-term perspective here. And every other company has been pretty much a shell with no value. So Amazon and Google will be the same. Okay, so keep that in mind, which is similar things that you're hearing now about Bitcoin especially and other projects or currencies within the crypto space. But what I find interesting is him saying that he sees a crash in crypto or Bitcoin from 3,000 to 7,000. I wholeheartedly disagree with that. I don't see Bitcoin falling below 10,000. Actually, I would say this. I don't see it falling below 15,000. And if it did, it would literally just be like a quick fall down and right back up. Not even a full day, not even half a day, not even a few hours would it be under 15. But I think 13,000 would be the absolute lowest, but not sustainable. It would not sit there. So for him to say beneath 10,000, not a chance for me.
So that will be the buy of a lifetime. But I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole, even down 50%, 60% here.
All right, I want to break that down a little bit. So Bitcoin goes down to around 3,000.
3 to 7,000, yeah.
In the next
2 years.
2 years.
In the global crash, where all financial assets, and Bitcoin is a new financial asset. It's like the dot-com.
But ultimately,
so this is also very interesting. He has mentioned in this entire interview that all things will crash, not just Bitcoin, and he has lumped Bitcoin in with all the other financial assets. So when you're talking about gold, you talk about stocks, you talk about real estate. He's lumped everything in there with them, and so one. I appreciate that he does that because every time, including this time, when you look at the stock market as heavily as it has been hit, people still look at crypto and Bitcoin and say, well, that's only where the volatility is. That's only where things are crashing. No one ever talks about the actual stocks. I mean, we've got stocks that are down 70, 80, 90% from where they were in last November. I should know. I have some of them in my portfolio. So I love that he does that. And then he says that all financial assets will go down. The other key thing is his projection is by 2024 that this crash will be pretty much over at that point, and then we'll see a boom going forward. So keep that in mind.
Ultimately, you see Bitcoin going to $500,000.
$500,000 to $1 million.
By 2037?
Yeah, and you know what? That would be enough for it to overtake gold as a global standard for money.
When you say global standard, do you see fiat currency being pegged to a Bitcoin standard? What do you mean by that?
It could be. I mean, you have to peg to something. I mean, here's the thing. This crash, after the greatest bubble in history, when everybody took off the shackles, is going to show that you can't just print money and grow, okay? And everybody's done it. U.S. is not the worst player here. Europe and Japan are worse. When this crashes, it's going to say, we need a new standard. We need something real, and we need something for the digital realm. Gold is not that. I think gold will grow to 3,000 to 5,000 in the next boom because Indians love gold. They like it as jewelry. Indians wear jewelry in places we can't even imagine. They wear more jewelry compared to their income than anybody I've met in the world.
So Indians love...
So a little side there. Well, first he's saying $500,000 to $1 million per Bitcoin by 2037. I would say I would put that more along the lines of 2030 is where I would put that, if not sooner, but that would be my long-term projection. But what I find very interesting is being an Indian, and he speaks about how Indian people value gold. I mean, that is 100% true. More so for generations in past, maybe not so much now. But for him to say they wear gold in places you can't even imagine, I'm going to disagree with that one.
Gold, but the globe is going to love Bitcoin long term.
Bitcoin is going to be the new digital standard, I think, for money. And that's the standard. So other things, crypto, are innovations in finance. But I think Bitcoin becomes the global standard. It's not there yet. It's not big enough. It's not widely accepted. And I think it'll crash the most. I think Bitcoin, like I said, 4,000 to 7,000 from 69. That will crash more than stocks. That's what I would. If we have this crash, I'm predicting the next 2 years. The number one thing I'd buy would be Bitcoin or Ethereum coming out of it.
Number one thing you'd buy Bitcoin and
That's
Ethereum.
the next new wave, like the dot-coms, like Amazon were in the 2002 crash.
Okay.
You know, Amazon went from 6 to 136 in 2 years and back to $6. That would have been the buy of your lifetime back in 2002.
So fascinating for him to say that coming out of this crash, I mean, he says 3,000 to 7,000. I don't buy that. But even if it hit 10,000, if it hit 15,000, it's still the number one thing to buy. He says Bitcoin and ETH. I'm more heavily towards Bitcoin versus ETH, but I'm definitely not in the camp that says it's one or the other, right? I think both are going to grow massively. I'm just more in the camp of Bitcoin. But here's the thing is that he talks about $6 Amazon goes to $136 and back down to $6. Just last year, Amazon was around $2,500 US. So from $6 to $2,500, possibly even more, $3,000, it may have hit there. So quite a jump. So when we look now and all everyone can focus on is Bitcoin, what was that, 70,000 or 69,000? And here we are sitting at 20,000. Oh my God, stay away. These are the opportunities of a lifetime. Now, of course, this is not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor, but this is how I feel, and I act in accordance of what I feel, right? And what I think. And so I am continuously dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin, ETH, and other cryptocurrencies. What I do like what he said was the fact that other crypto projects or currencies, and there'll be a lot of innovation in the space. So Bitcoin will be the standard, but the space itself is going to evolve and many things are going to pop up out of it. Just like the technology boom, the internet boom, right? The Amazons and everything become the standard, but there's so much innovation in the actual sector itself. Imagine if you could have invested in 2002, 2003 in that time period, right? And where we'd be now if we just held on to it. So same thing here. I think it's very important that people hear this narrative because all you're going to get is doom and gloom. Now he says this is going to run for the next 2 years or so, which is in line with the Bitcoin cycle every 4 years, right? There's a halving. And so 2024 is the next one, and that's usually when the boom starts again. So it is in line with that. I just don't see it crashing to where he's talking about. And, we'll see what happens. But I wanted to share that with you guys. I thought it was very interesting. And keep that in mind with all this doom and gloom that's happening. And definitely check out this video here where I talk about how to set yourself up for the next crypto bull run.